If you're over 60, please take this seriously, not just as medical advice, but as a warning from someone who has watched far too many seniors suffer, all while believing they were doing everything right. So many older adults trust that fruit is always a safe choice. After all, it's natural, sweet, and packed with vitamins. What could possibly go wrong? But here's what no one tells you. Once you reach a certain age, your body changes in ways that make even healthy foods react differently. Your metabolism slows, your arteries become more rigid, and your heart grows more sensitive to hidden sugars, potassium spikes, and certain compounds found in common fruits. That's why today's message is so urgent. Some fruits you've likely eaten your whole life could now be contributing to silent, daily strain on your cardiovascular system. Not through any fault of yours, but because your body after 60 no longer handles them the same way. And the most shocking part? The first fruit we're about to talk about is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. So before we start, stay with me. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And if you find this helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, so I know how to improve and serve you better. Your heart deserves this knowledge. Number 1. Overripe bananas. For most of your life, bananas have probably felt like a smart, easy choice. But after the age of 60, your body doesn't handle nutrients the same way it used to, and that includes potassium. What many older adults don't realize is that an overripe banana, the kind that's soft, extra sweet, and covered in dark spots, can quietly overload your system with potassium. And while potassium is vital for things like heartbeat regulation and muscle function, too much of it in an aging body can become dangerous, especially when the kidneys start slowing down. As we get older, our kidneys often can't filter out excess potassium as efficiently, so instead of being eliminated properly, that mineral starts building up in the blood. This condition is called hyperkalemia, and while it rarely comes with loud warning signs, you might notice fatigue, a strange flutter in your chest. Maybe your muscles feel weak or shaky. It's easy to brush those off as just getting older, but inside your heart might be struggling to keep its rhythm steady. Potassium overload interferes with the electrical impulses that control your heartbeat. And if this continues unchecked, it can lead to arrhythmias, a dangerously slow heart rate, or in the worst cases, even sudden cardiac arrest. I've met too many seniors in this exact situation, confused and frightened, because they thought they were eating something healthy. No one ever told them that overripe bananas, those soft, sugary ones, carry a concentrated potassium load that might be too much for an older heart. This risk becomes even more serious if you're taking medications like diuretics or blood pressure pills, or if you have any degree of kidney impairment, even mild. Now, does that mean you have to give up bananas entirely? Not necessarily, but moderation is key. Firmer, less ripe bananas contain less bioavailable potassium and are a better option. You might also consider eating just half at a time or combining it with foods high in fiber to slow down potassium absorption. And above all, pay attention to how your body responds. And just when you thought that was the only sneaky fruit putting your health in danger, wait until you hear what's coming next. It's in nearly every fridge in America, sweet and refreshing. But for seniors, it might be far more harmful than it seems. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Number 2. Grapes. They look innocent, but inside each grape is a concentrated source of fructose, a natural sugar that your aging body no longer handles as efficiently as it once did. When you were younger, your liver could process that sugar without much trouble. But now, with a slower metabolism and organs that may not function at full strength, the same sugar gets converted into something far more dangerous: triglycerides. These fats don't just float around harmlessly. They lodge themselves in your arteries, contribute to plaque formation, and slowly choke off healthy blood flow to your heart. Most seniors don't eat just a few grapes. They eat them by the bowlful. It's so easy to overdo it because grapes feel light, fresh, and healthy. But the truth is, they digest quickly, spike your blood sugar just as fast as a dessert, and give your heart an invisible workload. Over time, this pattern contributes to high triglyceride levels, inflammation in the arteries, and worsening blood pressure. Even worse, grapes lack the protective fiber you'd find in an apple or the dense antioxidants packed into berries. That means there's very little to buffer the sugar surge. Your body gets hit with a rush of fructose, and your heart pays the price. Many older adults are shocked when I tell them this. But I switched from cookies to fruit, they say. Why are my numbers still getting worse? The answer is that not all fruits behave the same way in an aging body. Grapes can quietly make things worse when eaten in large amounts. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy them at all. But if you do, it's best to keep the portions small, just a few at a time, and eat them with protein or fiber to help slow the sugar release. Because when grapes become your go-to snack or fill your fruit bowls day after day, they may be doing far more harm than good. And just when you thought it couldn't get more surprising, there's another fruit that hides behind its cool, hydrating image. It's a staple at picnics, a summer favorite, especially for seniors trying to stay refreshed. But under the surface, it may be triggering sudden drops in blood pressure and putting your heart in danger. Keep watching. This next fruit might be even more shocking. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Number 3, watermelon. Here's what many older adults don't realize. Watermelon is made up of more than 90% water, which makes it feel light and thirst-quenching. But hidden in that sweetness is a natural substance called citrulline, which causes your blood vessels to relax and widen, a process known as vasodilation. While this effect might help younger people with good circulation, it can be risky for someone on blood pressure medication or living with a weakened cardiovascular system. I've seen patients experience sudden dizziness, blurred vision, and even collapse after eating watermelon, especially on an empty stomach or right before physical activity. The drop in blood pressure can happen so fast that it feels like dehydration or heat exhaustion, when in fact, it's their heart struggling to maintain control. But there's another issue. Watermelon has a high glycemic index, meaning it sends your blood sugar soaring fast and crashing just as quickly. For seniors, these rapid spikes and drops can trigger inflammation, stress the heart, and increase the risk of irregular heartbeat. That sugar rush might not come from candy or soda, but from fruit that appears healthy on the outside. You might be thinking, it's just fruit. How bad could it be? But when your arteries are no longer as flexible and your nervous system reacts more sharply than before, even a natural food like watermelon can turn into a hidden danger. Stick to a small wedge instead of a full bowl. Don't eat it before taking a walk, and avoid combining it with blood pressure medication unless you've talked to your doctor about it. Pay attention to how your body reacts, especially if you feel lightheaded or unusually tired afterward. Because protecting your heart after 60 isn't just about avoiding junk food. It's about knowing how your body reacts to everything, even the healthy stuff. And just when you think watermelon is the last fruit you need to worry about, there's another one coming. It's rich, tropical, creamy, and it's got more hidden fat than most people ever imagine. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Number 4, durian. For many, it's a rare treat, rich, custard-like, and often celebrated as the king of fruits. Durian may be fruit, but it behaves more like fatty meat once inside your body. It's not just sweet, it's packed with saturated fat. In fact, bite for bite, it can contain nearly the same amount of artery-clogging fat as processed meats. And that's a serious concern for anyone with a heart that's already under strain. As we grow older, our arteries become stiffer, our blood flow slows, and our bodies struggle to handle fats the way they once did. So when saturated fat enters the system, like the kind found in durian, it causes levels of LDL, bad cholesterol, to rise. That cholesterol doesn't just float around, it sticks to artery walls, gradually hardening into plaque. This is a process known as atherosclerosis, and it's one of the major drivers behind heart attacks and strokes in older adults. The trouble is, most people don't associate these risks with a fruit. They assume it's natural, it must be healthy. But what they don't feel is the silent damage. Low-grade inflammation building in the blood vessels, cholesterol settling in the arteries, and a heart working harder behind the scenes just to keep up. I've spoken with seniors who ended up in the ER with chest tightness, palpitations, or shortness of breath, never suspecting that their favorite fruit snack played a role. But when we review their diet, a pattern often emerges. Durian eaten frequently, sometimes in large amounts, and paired with underlying conditions or medications that made things worse. There's another layer to the risk. Durian tends to raise your core body temperature, making some people feel flushed, restless, or even short of breath. If you're taking blood pressure or cholesterol medications, this sudden internal heat can intensify side effects and make your heart race, putting even more pressure on your cardiovascular system. A small bite now and then may be fine, but large portions can slowly undermine your heart health without a single obvious warning sign. And if you think this danger only applies to exotic tropical fruits, just wait. The next culprit looks completely innocent. It's shiny, classic, and probably already in your kitchen, yet it could be quietly making your heart work harder than it should. Number 5. Mango. You see, behind that golden flesh lies a hidden danger. Mangoes are packed with fructose, a type of sugar that doesn't fuel your body like glucose does. Instead of giving you quick energy, fructose heads straight to your liver, where it quietly turns into fat. This isn't the kind of fat that gets stored around your waist. It's the kind that builds up in your bloodstream as triglycerides, and over time, it starts clogging your arteries. When arteries begin to narrow from plaque, your heart has to work harder to pump blood. Oxygen delivery drops, blood pressure climbs, and your risk of heart trouble begins to rise. For an aging cardiovascular system, these changes can be dangerous, even deadly. And there's more. Mangoes sit high on the glycemic index, which means they cause your blood sugar to spike fast. For seniors whose insulin function may already be slowing down, this sudden surge can cause rapid shifts, leading to inflammation, a racing heartbeat, and crashes in energy. Your body reacts like it's under attack, and your heart takes the brunt of it. I've spoken with older patients who thought they were doing the right thing, swapping out dessert for mango slices, blending it into smoothies every day. But the results told a different story: rising blood sugar, climbing cholesterol, and early signs of heart strain. The common thread? Not pastries, not soda, but fruit. Sweet, natural, and unintentionally harmful in large amounts. It feels like a healthy choice, but too much of it can quietly push your heart toward imbalance. Sugar overload, internal inflammation, and fat conversion. It all builds up silently until the damage becomes visible. Now that doesn't mean you need to give up mango completely. A few slices here and there are one thing, but bowls of diced mango, sugary dried mango snacks, or mango juice, those hit your system much harder. And if you're dealing with high blood pressure, diabetes, or cholesterol issues, it's best to check with your doctor before making it a regular part of your diet. And just when you think the danger ends with sweet tropical fruits, there's another one waiting in the wings. It's tiny, easy to overeat, and carries a heat that might stir up far more than your taste buds. Number 6. LCHI and long gone. These fruits are loaded with fast-absorbing sugars, mainly glucose. And when that kind of sugar floods into your bloodstream all at once, it can create chaos in a system that's already slowing down with age. Your insulin response can't keep up. Blood sugar spikes, blood pressure rises, your blood vessels tense, and your heart, it suddenly finds itself working overtime, pushing harder, faster, and with far less resilience than it once had. But there's another layer to this that's rarely talked about. In traditional Eastern medicine, lychee and longan are considered heating fruits. That might sound like folklore, but there's real physiological truth to it. These fruits stimulate the sympathetic nervous system, the same one that activates during stress. This can raise your internal body temperature, speed up your heartbeat, and trigger symptoms like restlessness, jitteriness, and even sleepless nights. You may not feel the damage after one serving, but when these surges happen again and again, they begin to wear down the heart's natural rhythm, inflame the blood vessels, and weaken the muscle that keeps everything going. The result? A higher risk of arrhythmias, fatigue, and even serious heart events that seem to come out of nowhere. This doesn't mean you have to cut out every fruit, but it does mean recognizing that even natural foods can carry hidden risks, especially when eaten carelessly or in excess. With lychee and longan, portion control is critical. Timing matters too, and most importantly, pay close attention to how your body responds. The next danger doesn't come from a fruit at all, but from what we drink. It's found in nearly every senior's kitchen, poured into glasses with the best intentions, but it may be the most deceptive threat to your heart yet. Number 7. Fruit juice. Orange, apple, grape. The problem starts the moment whole fruit is turned into juice. When that happens, nearly all of its fiber is removed. What's left is a concentrated dose of natural sugar that hits your bloodstream almost instantly. One glass of orange juice can carry as much sugar as a can of soda. The only difference? Juice is disguised as something good for you, which makes it more deceptive. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at managing sugar. Insulin sensitivity drops, and your pancreas has to work harder just to maintain balance. So every sip of juice causes your blood sugar to spike, forcing a surge of insulin into your bloodstream. Your heart, in turn, races to handle the chaos. That cycle, sugar spikes, insulin floods, increased heart rate, puts enormous pressure on a heart that may already be worn down by years of stress. But it doesn't end there. Those sugar surges ignite inflammation deep in your blood vessels. And chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers behind arterial plaque, the kind that silently builds up, narrowing your arteries, raising your blood pressure, and quietly setting the stage for heart attacks and strokes. I've had patients in their 60s and 70s who followed every rule. They walked daily, avoided processed foods, even monitored their salt. But their hearts still showed signs of trouble. And when we looked closely, it was the juice. That one daily habit, passed off as healthy, was undoing everything else they worked so hard to get right. This doesn't mean fruit is off limits, quite the opposite. Whole fruits are full of nutrients, and their natural fiber helps your body absorb sugar more gently. But when you juice them, you strip away the fiber and turn what was once nourishing into something potentially harmful. So if you truly want to support your heart, skip the glass and grab the fruit instead. Chew it, don't drink it. Let your body work with nature's design, not against it. And now that you've uncovered the truth about these 7 surprising threats to your heart, there's one last piece you need to hear, because sometimes the greatest danger isn't in what you eat at all. It's in what you don't do. Stay with me, because this final part might be the most important of all. If you're still watching right now, I want to say thank you. It shows me something powerful. You're not just chasing more years, you're striving for better ones. More energy, more clarity, more control over your future. That commitment is exactly what your heart needs from you right now. Many older adults believe they're making smart choices. They avoid junk food. They go for walks. They steer clear of processed snacks. But then they unknowingly reach for a second bowl of fruit or sip on a glass of juice, never realizing that what feels healthy may be quietly working against them. Your body after 60 isn't the same. Foods that once gave you energy and strength might now spike your blood sugar, send your blood pressure crashing, or quietly inflame arteries that have already begun to stiffen. The heart that's kept you alive all these years is now more delicate, and it deserves more thoughtful care. Aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean wisdom, smarter choices, more mindful eating, knowing when to pause and question, is this still right for me now? So tell me, what stood out to you today? What change are you ready to make? Drop it in the comments. Let's learn from each other and keep moving forward together. If this message helped you, type 1 below. If not, feel free to share 0. Your feedback matters and helps us grow. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a moment of guidance and support. Thank you for being here. And here's to living stronger, longer, and on your own terms.